Hello, good morning. I also thank you, our organization, for the invitation to present the Agrobiofilm project. It was FP7 project in the sub-primary capacities, and it was applied in 2009, and it will last till 2013, March. Well, I must talk to you about plastic culture. I don't know if you are aware that in the world we spend something like 3.6 million tons of plastic in agriculture, and 41% it's mulch. Mulch film, it's a plastic to cover the soil and put the plants over the mulch. In fact, mulching is a technique that uses protective covers over the soil. Plastic is common since middle of the last century, and it's very common and important for large-scale food production. The function of this, why do you use this mulch film in horticulture especially? Because increased soil temperature, because it allows the weed control, easy weed control, because reduce nutrient leaching, because its retention of soil moisture makes the irrigation more sustainable, and of course because improves food quality, and it will be very important also to increase the early and total yield of the crops. But it has a lot of problems because this mulch film is based on polyethylene that is mainly oil. So at the end of the crop cycle, it must be removed from the fields, and I believe the person involved in this type of activities know that it's impossible to remove all the residues of plastic. Most of the farmers, I believe, they have the intention to remove all of them, but they can't. It must be disposed at authorized facilities, and that's another problem, because it's not so easy to do that. And as you can see, the removal of this mulch film, it can be done manual, mechanical, or both. It's really hard labor and also very expensive. It depends on the crop, it depends on the country, but I believe that at least 250 euros per hectare to remove, just to remove from the field, not to pick up this mulch and send it to authorized facility, just to remove from the field. Recycling, you could, well, why don't you recycle this mulch film? Because it's dirty with soil, with plants, with pesticides, and to recycle this mulch film, it would be need to wash this mulch film. And wash this plastic, it will be a large consumption of water and energy. It will be not economical to recycle this mulch film. So the good practice, because it's not so good, is indeed send this mulch film to landfill or the energetic recovery, burning this mulch film. But the bad practice, unfortunately very common, can be a lot of farmers, they just forgot the mulch film set aside in one part of the field. Others, they just open a big hole and bury the mulch film inside, and unfortunately, it's not very common, but unfortunately some of them, they also make a fire with mulch film. Well, faced to this problem, Silvex is a Portuguese company dedicated to plastic industry. We are focused on PE, of course, because it's still our main business. But we are very, very impressive, and we are selling and producing a lot of biodegradable products. Biodegradable, real biodegradable. With matter B, that means cornstarch, basically. Our project, it was founding for the capacities program, like I told you, from FP7. We have a grant of around 1 million euros that goes almost all of them to the universities that are subcontracted to make the scientific work, and it will go to March 2013. The mulch, agrobiofilm, is a biodegradable mulch peroxidation with polyethylene mulch that the farmers use today. Matter B is from Novamont, the leader company producing raw material, biodegradable and compostable, and it's basically cornstarch and other vegetable oils. Our mainly difference regarding the state of the art is that we are using the new grade CF versus NEF. That was the old grade from Matter B, and our intervention, our goal in this project is of course test the mulching in the field, but we are changing the mulching itself, because one thing is to have the raw material and another is the end product, and we work in scrapping the product to make this mulching cheaper, of course, because the one problem is the farmers don't believe in the biodegradable mulching, and they found this biodegradable mulching too expensive. We work a lot in the processing parameters. That's one of the main work in the project, in one work package. It's change the processing parameters in order to adapt this mulch film to different soils, to different regions, to different crops. Like I say here, it must be customized to different crops, soils and regions. Sorry. The coordinator is Silvex, a Portuguese company. We have also two other SMEs. BioBag International is the lead company producing biodegradable products in the world. And we have also a French company, ECS Environment. The scientific work is subcontracted to entities. In Portugal, the Instituto Superior de Agronomia. We have in France the Montpellier University with a research center focused on plastic. We have also a technological center in Spain, Adesla, and we have the Rodrigues University in Denmark. Then we have the end users, and the end users because we found very important to make the field tests in real scale and real conditions. We don't make the field tests in a small field at the university campus, no. It's in real, with real farmers, with big field tests. We have in Portugal, Portugal is a producers organization from Portugal. We are testing in here strawberries, melon and bell pepper. Then in France we have Chateau Vassier from Olivier Manville. It's around Carcassonne. We are testing the mulch film on vines. And we are in Spain, we test both in Explotaciones Agrarias de it's a farmer, and also in the experimental field of Adesla, our partner. We have also observation interest group from Portugal, the Technological Center, from Spain, one agency of innovation and development, from Andalusia, the region where we have the tests in Spain, and also Fred is an organization of producers from strawberries. We have also from Novamont, just invited scientific advisor. It was mainly necessary at the beginning of the project, now we are running by ourselves. The project management, the team of the project management is basically myself. And we have also other work package for development of the new biomulch film, the implementation of field tests, the monitorization of field tests. Work package 7 it's very important because it is related to the we have the LCA study made by the Danish University, and also we must validate our results and spread our results to the other parts of the world. So, of course, the work package 2, it's what I am doing today, dissemination. Regarding test sites, we have in the Ribatejo region, melon, bell pepper, and strawberry, and regarding horticulture, of course. And in Spain, we have strawberry in two fields. Here I can show you it's hard soil. It's not our scientific advisor told me don't do mulch in these kind of soils. It must be a clean soil, but we opt to we consider it very important to make with the real conditions. We do what the farmer do. We don't say, do like this, do like that. We give the mulch film and it does the same thing with the polyethylene than with the agrobiofilm. And it will, in this first and second year of experiments, in melon, bell pepper, and strawberries and vines, the mulch film lasts for the whole crop cycle in good conditions. And I will show you just the results of the quantity, the production, because we have a lot of results. We have probe soils for moisture, for temperature, but we have no time to do that in here. This is the second cycle of the melon, and as we can see, P is the polyethylene mulch, agrobiofilm B1 is black, formulation 1, agrobiofilm B2 black, formulation 2, and green G1 is green, formulation 1. We have different formulations. And as we can see, there is no difference, no statistical difference between the different production. That's what interests the farmer, of course. We can say, oh, test this mulch film, it's biodegradable, it's amazing. But if the result at the end of the crop cycle, the production is lower, he is not interested. Bell pepper, it was placed by machine and then planted by hand. The lay down of the mulch film, that's all the important thing. It must be laid down with the same machine that our farmer used for the polyethylene. We cannot say you must buy a new machine. It's important. Here we can say 39 days after planting, agrobiofilm on the left, polyethylene on the right. There is no difference on plants. Here 62 days after planting, no difference also in the different mulch film. And we also can see that in this year we test 70 micron in the bell pepper. We test 15 in the melon, and then on the strawberry we test 18. In fact, with our results, we think that on the bell pepper we use a very high thickness mulch film. We are now in this year testing a lower thickness, because, as you understand, this mulch film is sold by quantity, because the raw material is sold per kilo. So we must have thick mulch film, also not only for a cost issue, but also for the biodegradation in the soil. Because the great advantage of this mulch film, it can be buried in the soil at the end of the crop cycle. We don't need to remove it. Regarding the production and the quality of the bell pepper, we have no difference also in the first and second year. The strawberry, it's we suppose we was facing more difficulty, because we can see the bed is different, is higher, and we was a little bit afraid about the depression, but we have no problems with the lay down of the mulch. This is the agrobiofilm. You can see the conventional, the polyethylene mulch film, and the agrobiofilm. We can see that our mulch film, our biodegradable mulch film, is more, in terms of the water vapor permeability, it's something like 5 times more with more permeability to the water vapor. We was planting the strawberry, and it started to rain. We take this photo, you can see the drops of water remains on top of the conventional polyethylene, and on our mulch film, just we don't have raindrops. It's important in terms of health of fruits, this characteristic. In Portugal, we make the test both on open field and in greenhouse, and in Spain, just in a small column in greenhouse, in 2 places. Also, in Spain, we have no problem lay down the mulch. Just present you the most important result is the total production. Despite we have something like 50 grams of difference, it's not a statistical difference between the 2 productions on mulch biodegradable, on oil, on polyethylene mulch. The people are aware, or they know that we use the mulch film on horticulture, but in vines, most of the persons, they don't know that the mulch film can be used in vines. In fact, I just know the use of this mulch film in vines in France, just in small and some regions, some French regions. It's Lomac, nearby Carcassonne, it's our Minervois. And why do you test biodegradable mulch film in vines? Well, because, as I told you, in France, it's used in some French regions, and because it's forbidden in some our regions in France. For a wine with the appellation d'origine contrôlée, we cannot use the mulch. The plastic with oil, but we can use our, because it's not plastic. We call it plastic, but also because the mulch effect on vines, it just lasts for 3 to 5 years in the literature that was consulted. And as you know, as you might know, polyethylene lasts for decades. It can be in the soil for 500 years without degradation. Here is some pictures I took when I was planning the testing in France. This vine was destroyed, but the mulch film stays. I believe that this vine was planted at least 15 years before my pictures. And this vineyard is in production. As you can see, the mulch film, the polyethylene mulch film, is being incorporated into the soil. And of course, it's a aesthetic degradation of the landscape that is very important in the vineyards. Well, we test with Chardonnay, grafted on SO4. We test the mulch film with the polyethylene, our mulch film, biodegradable agrobiofilm. We also test vine shelters, and the control is bare soil. We lay down the mulch film 1 week after the plantation, mechanical plantation, and also mechanical lay down the mulch film. This is the tractor with the implement. It's very similar to the horticulture. The tractor goes over the vine that was already planted, and you can see the vines. We just press the mulch film and the vines goes up. Then we put a little bit of soil and it stays like this. Here you can see the biomulch film and the polyethylene mulch film. This is 2.5 months later. You can see the PE mulch film and the plants and the vines in the biomulch film. There is no difference. Of course, in the bare soil we have no weed control. We must use herbicides to control the weeds. Also in the vine shelter we must use herbicides to control the weeds. This is the overview 2.5 months later. And at month 4 we can see, and first you can see the bare soil, and you can see on the background the vines with the mulch. Of course, it's difficult to see the difference. I can help you because the first wire is in 90 centimeters and the second wire is 1.2 meters. And as you can see, the plants on the bare soil, they don't reach the first wire. Indeed, they have something like 60 centimeters. The first wire, the second wire, here in the bare soil, the first wire is very up on the plant, and just 4 months after the plantation, we have 60 centimeters with bare soil and polyethylene and biodegradable with more than the double. We have measured the vegetative growth at the plants 9 months after the plantation, and we can see that with polyethylene and biomulch film, the vegetative growth of the vine is 3 times that one from bare soil. Also, we have the pruning weight, and it's the same, even more, 4 times. So the plant has developed 4 times more than the plant without mulch film. And this was an amazing result. We was not expecting this kind of results because, as you might know, I don't know if you are familiar with vines, but we plant our vineyard in April 2010. So in August 2011 we have the first harvest. It's not common. We don't harvest normally at the first year, just on the second or on the third. And with the mulch film, we harvest on the first year, and we harvest 18 tons. It's very high. It's not very common. We believe that this result from our experience and because in the second year it appears to be the same. We plant another vineyard in the second year. We have not harvest, of course, but we have the vegetative growth with the same difference between the plants with mulch and the plants without mulch. We have our next dissemination activity. It will be held in Almein June 28th with the workshop presenting the results of the 2 years. And we have here in Almein all of the partners presenting the results. Thank you for your attention, and for further information, please contact me.